Hey guys, Raising Canes. Welcome to Raising Canes. How can I take your order? Would you like some chicken? Oh, wait, I'm not Jeremy Pena. I don't get to make a star appearance at Raising Canes. But when you're ALCS MVP, World Series MVP, people line up for hours and hours just to see you. I mean, people lined up at 9 a.m. the day before. Really, Houston? Do you love Jeremy Pena that much? Yes, we do. We got Rule 5 to talk about, some Justin Verlander sort of news, and some free agents have said bye-bye to Houston Astros and the minor league system. We'll talk about that and more on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talk Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros. Your team every day. Brett, when you're not working at Raising Canes, when you have free time, where can it find you at on Twitter?
Well, I don't have 3 jobs, but man, that would be nice, especially if Jeremy Pena showed up. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive, always Stros.
Alrighty, you can imagine there's a whole bunch of transfers from across the city. I would like to transfer to that Chick-fil-A for today. Why? I don't know. I just feel like it. But yeah, that was crazy. And you know what else is crazy? Not subscribing to the Locked On Astros podcast on YouTube. Go ahead and make us your first listen every day. Go ahead and watch us on YouTube. Go and give us a like while you're at it. And go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify on your way to work. Wherever you listen to your podcast, check out the Locked On Astros podcast. And so thank you for helping us reach 6,000 subscribers on YouTube, but we're still reaching for the stars with 10,000 subscribers. And then from there, we're going to keep on going and going because we are the Astros #1 podcast out there. There you go, Brett. I actually said it. So, but yeah, this is going to be a interesting show. Definitely a lot of Rule 5 talk with the Rule 5, the need to protect players from the Rule 5 draft on Tuesday. So that's definitely something we're going to talk about. Some notable free agents have left in the minor league system. So that's something to kind of discuss. And also Ken Rosenthal had some thoughts on Justin Verlander. So those are some of the things that we're going to talk about on today's podcast. So Jeremy Pena, to get back to the chicken, Jeremy Pena is finished 5th in terms of rookie of the year votes. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Well, I don't really think it's all that bad for Jeremy Pena to only get 2 third-place votes in this year's Rookie of the Year contest. I think because coming in, these voters can't tell me that they have a bias going into the season. Jeremy Pena, when we did our episode before the season and player breakdown with Lindsey Crosby, he thought he would be top 10. I said he would be top 5. For him to be in the top 5, I think is phenomenal. But when you look at the overall result, Eric, of his year, I think Jeremy Pena would rather have his 2 MVPs in the playoffs in the ring than the Rookie of the Year. But let me tell you, Julio Rodriguez absolutely deserves the Rookie of the Year. He's a great kid. This is a 5-tool player. This is a guy that the Astros will have to face year in and year out. Now, the rules change a little bit in that we don't face the Mariners as often as we would these past years. So that will be a little less striking as an opponent. But Julio Rodriguez is a dude. And him, Adley Rutschman, Stephen Kwan, you can't take anything from these guys. And Bobby Witt, who got 4th. A lot of people picked Bobby Witt to be the guy that was going to get it at the end of the year. And Julio Rodriguez ended up getting it. But Jeremy Pena at least getting some votes does say something about what he did. Eric, had he not slumped in the middle of the season, I really think that Jeremy Pena would have been maybe 2nd or 3rd in the voting.
Alrighty, so this just came up on the clicker. We did not put this on. Well, we're going to discuss it a little bit because you and I have some little different opinions on this. But I just saw a part of Ken Rosenthal's article that just came up right before the show. He talked about JV. We'll get to JV in a second, but he also said that the Astros are targeting Anthony Rizzo really hard, and so they want to make him offer he can't refuse. I mean, that's not what he said. I'm trying to find this, but here,
Oh, hold
here
on.
I'm trying to find the exact idea, but it said the Astros have identified Anthony Rizzo as their number one free agent target at first base, per Ken Rosenthal. Mic drop.
But okay, but Jim Morosi said that there's a better than
John.
50% chance. John Morosi said that there is a better than 50% chance that the Yankees re-sign Anthony Rizzo.
Hey,
Look,
Jim Crane, we want some more money. So what can we do? We can get your competition, your everyday, your every year, what date in the playoffs
well, here's the
to
deal.
try to
Here's the
compete.
deal. If we get Anthony Rizzo, you could still get Yuli Gurriel.
Oh
You
yeah,
could bring him on as a guy that platoons with Rizzo,
right.
and they flip flop between DH and first base. If Brantley doesn't happen, which I hear they are still looking at Brantley, they are looking at Yuli. Those are real possibilities. Now, look, I'm not opposed to it, but when we talk about what clubs will lose, I guess $500,000 isn't that much. And we'll talk towards the end of the show about Justin Verlander because some other teams stand to lose a whole lot more than the Astros for picking up Justin Verlander. And if Rizzo fits, Eric, and the
Hmm.
Astros feel like he fits, look, I trust Jim Crane. I trust these new GMs they have in there. And I don't know what I'm
Assistant
doing with
GM.
my hands. Assistant GM. Well, I don't know. Bill Furcus is the point man now. So he's not
He's
the
still
official
just assistant.
GM,
Yeah.
but he's the assistant to the regional
The
manager. I'm
assistant.
joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I knew where you're going with that. But here's the exact quote from Ken Rosenthal in the article. The Astros have identified Anthony Rizzo as their number one free agent target at first base. They are also considering Yuli Gurriel and Jose Abreu. But signing Rizzo would serve the dual purpose of bolstering their own roster while weakening the Yankees roster.
So what do you so hold on. Are you doing a celebratory like moving your head up and down? Eric. Okay.
Because I'm
Eric
right.
so
I told you this was going to be their primary target. That's all I'm saying.
no,
And the Astros, if that's the guy they want to spend their next 3 years with, they don't care if they have to give up a draft pick and all that. We're not gonna go in that conversation again. But,
no, you know what Eric's doing? Eric is spiking the football here. He is spiking the football. It's okay. You can spike the football. We are still on the same team. It's okay. This is not going to be an Astros Twitter beef, okay?
I know.
It's like I tweeted out earlier. I said, Astros fans, we have a dynasty going. We're going to win the next 5 years. Also, Astros fans, what's wrong with Jim Crane? What's he doing getting rid of the GM? He's going to ruin this team. I'm like, people cannot be happy for a World Series winning team for anything. Some of these
Right.
people are just negative Nancy's. But look, I am all on Team Rizzo. If it's what the Astros want, if it's the direction they go in, it would be great to pull him away from the Yankees. I would love that aspect of it alone. Just having him in an Astros uniform going to New York. Dude, the booze that dude will receive. And hey, there's some Astros fans, and I don't know all the details, but there's some Astros fans that I'm hopefully going to be teaming up with and going to New York in August to go watch the Astros play the Yankees.
All right, that's cool. So definitely to go back to the Morosi, the 50-50 as a math teacher, that's a shut up, Alexa. But definitely, or Siri, whatever her name is, but definitely 50-50 is a situation where, yes, Morosi said it was more than a 50-50 chance that he goes, but that could be 51%. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean go bet all your money at Bet Online on Rizzo going back to Yankees. He's coming to H-Town, and that's what I would bet on. So let's talk about Bet Online.
Well, if you're as sure as you are, like, if you are as sure as Eric the Man Heisman is with Ken Rosenthal's words of truth and wisdom, then you probably will do a good job if you go to betonline.net. Why? Because it's your number one source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From football to basketball to soccer to esports, we've got it all at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, they have your fix there too. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. What are the odds of the Astros repeating a back-to-back title? Um, Bet online, where the game starts.
Alrighty, so I'm not gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna say it's 100% gonna happen, but I really have a good feeling it's exactly what the Astros need. If you're not gonna go out and spend 36 million on Justin Verlander to bring him back, you're not gonna go out there. I mean, you might have a case for DeGrom. We could talk about that later, but I just think that Rizzo is very likely option. Does that mean Crane's going to be able to pony up enough money and to get him? No, but the interest is there. So that means they are willing to give up the draft pick and they are willing to lose the international draft pool. So I don't want to dwell too much on that, but Jose Abreu was on that list as well, and also Yuli Gurriel. So, like you said, Yuli Gurriel could come back if needed, but who knows? And while we're on Ken Rosenthal, let's go and talk about JV. So he had some thoughts on JV as well. And he said last year that Crane was the one who negotiated the deal while Verlander was over the out of seas. I think he was in Italy or somewhere. But so it wasn't Click. So he was in Italy, yes. And he said, Rosenthal said it seemed like a good bet to resign quickly with the Astros, but it has not happened yet. Verlander sees the potential for lucrative opportunities with the Mets, the Yankees, and the Dodgers. So this is the Dodgers could definitely go after him, according to Rosenthal, if Tyler Anderson rejects the Dodgers' $19.65 million qualifying offer. And if the Mets, Yankees, and Dodgers, they all exceeded the luxury tax threshold last year. So if they do sign Justin Verlander, they would have to give up the second and fifth highest picks they get and 1 million from their international draft pool because they exceeded the luxury tax threshold. So
And
that is a lot.
And that doesn't seem like a formula that's worked for them, Eric. So why would they keep climbing up the money ladder? The money ladder has gotten them where? You get to the top of the ladder and you fall off. Outside of a 60-game World Series title by the Dodgers, those teams haven't done jack crap since the Astros have been ruling the roost.
Mhm.
Those teams have spent all that money and gone over the luxury tax. And the Yankees have spent all this money and they've got nothing to show for it. So good riddance if you choose to get JV, because Dodgers, you got Scherzer and it failed. You got Freddie Freeman and it failed. You had Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, Mookie Betts, and you won 100,000,000 games in the 2022 season, and you still failed. So go get Justin Verlander. I don't think he pushes you over the top. No offense, JV, but have you seen his World Series record? Now, he is one of the winningest pitchers in postseason history, but I don't think if Justin is in it for the money right now, let him go chase the money. That's fine with me. We've got plenty of pitchers, but I don't see it working out for these teams. Now, it may be a different story if the Yankees sign Judge back, if they keep Rizzo, if they have Cole and JV. Those four pieces make you a much more competitive team, and I don't think would get swept by the Houston Astros if they competed against them in another playoff round, Eric.
Yeah.
But that is a high risk, high reward situation. And there it sounds like his starting asking salary is right at 40 million because of what he did. And watch when he's not going to negotiate a thing until he gets that Cy Young under his belt. Once he gets that Cy Young, then you're going to see Justin Verlander sign.
Yeah, look at this baby. Look at this baby. I'm Cy Young. All the other guys, they didn't win the Cy Young, but I did.
His
I'm a free
third
agent.
Cy Young.
Yeah.
I have an MVP, 3 Cy Youngs. I have an ALCS MVP with the Astros. I have 2 World Series titles.
Right.
I pitched just as good as I did my last Cy Young in 2019. Oh yeah, did you know that in the last 4 years I have 2 Cy Youngs? So if you want me, you need to pay me. I mean, he's earned the right to say that. He doesn't show any signs of slowing down. Everybody in Houston would love to have him back. But if it's at the expense of the ball club and them not being able to sign other pieces that they need,
Rizzo.
the cost may be more than the reward. But let
Right.
me ask you this, Eric. Do you guarantee the Astros win the World Series with JV on the roster?
It's a lot more likely, I would say the odds are a lot more favorable that you get back there and you get through the first couple rounds and you get to the World Series. And I think that the Astros winning the World Series had more to do with Framber Valdez and Christian Javier in this situation.
Oh,
Yes, Verlander
exactly.
did get that win. He did get the win, but he also
But
put
during
them
the
in a big
season,
hole. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you
so
need him during the season.
because now he had 22 quality starts, and I would say that you could add those quality starts with a healthy Lance McCullers,
Yeah,
with Christian Javier having more chances to pitch, you and with having Hunter Brown,
yeah.
you could make up those 22 quality starts with at least 2 or 3 other guys.
Yeah, Ken Rosenthal actually did another article earlier today, and he was talking about the new playoff system may actually decentify whatever the word is. Make teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Mets, the teams with the upper payrolls, go out and spend more. Because if you're going to spend all this money, then a team that gets hot in the playoffs can just wipe you
It
out
will
and
almost
go to the World Series.
yeah, it won't disenfranchise them, it will de-incentivize them, I think
That's
is
the word I
the
was looking for.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the adjective. Yeah, it will but see, here's the thing,
De-incentivize, yeah,
Eric. Yeah, I don't think it's that simple though. I don't think the Dodgers are gonna be like, well, we're not gonna spend the money because there's these
right,
other teams. These other teams came up and the Phillies showed up and they were supposed to be another team of destiny, and the Astros were supposed to, oh, they have their number from the NL East. And what did the
yeah.
Astros do? They kicked their whats. Yeah, they
Well,
won 2 games, but the Astros pretty much kicked their tail. I mean, they didn't have a chance in game 6. Kyle Schwarber bunting with 2 strikes. I mean, those guys gave up, period, end of story. So that I think is an encouragement to these teams because now they're
right.
like, okay, look, you can get hot, but at the end of the day, if you've got a club built like the Astros, there's no reason why you lose. Like if the Astros would have lost, it would have been like the Dodgers the last 2 years, like absolutely failing at getting to the championship or even winning one.
Yeah, and he also brought up the Astros. The Astros would be a kind of good example of that in the fact that they won this year's World Series not because they spent a lot of money by re-signing Carlos Correa, but what they did was they went with a younger guy in Jeremy Pena, and he became this guy that helped you a lot during the regular season, but he became the superstar in the postseason. So with the right players and the right minor league system, you can kind of build from within and you don't have to go out there and get the high priced free agent in Carlos Correa who thinks he's all these different types of clothes brands or purse brands, whatever. So
He's Prada to your Louis Vuitton.
yeah, something like that. But speaking out of minor league system, I do want to talk about the Rule 5
Yeah.
draft. The deadline for protecting the Rule 5 players is tomorrow. I want to go over some notable names that are on the list, and then we can kind of go over which ones we think the Astros need to protect. We're not going to talk about all of them. I'm just going to mention some names, and then we'll focus on a few. So Caesar Salazar is not really a big one, but he's on there. Luke Berryhill, he's a catcher that the Astros traded for in 2021. He's on there. Also, CJ Stubbs, Garrett Stubbs brothers on there. Then you also have, let me see, you
You
have
have
Scott
here, I'll give
Schreiber.
you, yeah.
I got it. Scott Schreiber, who played in the Arizona Fall League. He is a possibility, but he is 27 years old. You have also Corey Julks, who we talked about yesterday, Brian Arias. Then you have Gray Kessinger. He is a second round pick. He was a 68th overall pick back in 2019. And he did have a good year this past year, but will the Astros protect him? Would other teams take him? That's the question. A name that a lot of people are talking about right now is Christian Gonzalez. He is a shortstop, third base. He's a 21-year-old guy in AAA, but he's was international signing, of course, but he is Rule 5 eligible. Alex McKenna. Then you have Jordan Brewer. Again, Matthew Barefoot, who we saw a lot in 2021 with the bat, but he didn't play much this last year. And then you have Jaden Murray, who the Astros got from the Orioles in the Mancini trade. Then you have JP France, Brett Conine, and I think I'm getting to the bottom of the notable ones. So yeah,
Yeah.
anybody
So
else I miss?
no, I think you hit the nail on the head. There are several guys out there that you want to look at protecting. This Jade Murray is an interesting kid because he is someone that in 2022 was 8-5 on the mound with a 3.50 ERA. Eric, he had 99 strikeouts and 108 innings pitched, a 1.21 WHIP. The year before that, a .71 WHIP and a .97 WHIP. So he definitely has some upside. 6'1". He's a right-hander, 190. He's got a great body. He's got great pitch selection. His pitch shapes are really well, and he is someone that they got over here for a reason. And I mean, hey, he's a James Click guy, so there's all this like bad fodder about James Click, but he is someone that is like he is their number 17 overall. No, I'm sorry, number 12 overall prospect according to MLB.com. So Murray, who you
Right.
mentioned, who we're talking about as 12th. Christian Gonzalez is 17th, and Jolks is number 30. Jolks has reached all the way up to 30, but you and I talk about Jolks all the time. We love the kid. He hits the ball. He's a five-tool guy. He can play infield and outfield both, but he is going to be 27 this year. His age does kind of count against him a little bit, but I really think that you've got many guys down in the minors that you're probably going to see them want to keep. I know Sean Dubin had an injury last year. I think they want to probably protect him again. Had he not gotten into injury trouble, you might have seen him, Eric, in September. He had touched 100 on the gun a few times, was having a very, very good year. There's another guy, Eric, that isn't necessarily Rule 5 eligible, but look for him to start making some waves again. And Justin Dearden, who came up from Corpus, he kind of fizzled out, flattened out a little bit when he got to AAA, but he's got a very good bat. He's a very good outfielder. Again, not Rule 5 eligible, but there are some different minor league guys that we want to keep an eye on. But I think they protect Jolks. I think they protect Dubin. And I think they protect. Let's see. I'm sorry. Is Dubin even Rule 5?
No, I was about to
Oh,
say
he's not.
Dubin's not even
Okay.
Rule 5.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Dubin was Rule 5. They
Yeah.
protected him already. Okay. So yeah, I think your list is good. I think Brian Arias, I wonder if they protect him. He's kind of made a name for himself a little bit. But a lot of the names, Eric, when you look at these guys, 25, 26, 27, some of them are getting long on the tooth, and that's all because the Astros are so good at the top.
Yeah, and if you look at JP France, he's a guy that the Astros have been really high on. He's up, and while he pitched in 34 games last year. He had 15 starts. He had a 3.90 ERA with 11.06 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's a little bit down from his previous
Hmm.
year, and then even more down. I guess it's kind of where he's been, but overall, he does walk 4 batters per 9 innings, so he does have some signs for improvements. But he pitched a lot in AAA, so I think that's somebody that the Astros do need to protect. And if you look at Christian Gonzalez, is still young enough that he the problem with him is he has great speed. He plays good defense. His bat may not be there yet, even though he hit 10 home runs, but that's the type of guy that a team can possibly bury at the bottom of your bench, have a pinch runner, especially with a 26-man roster. That's something that you can do if you want to carry him for the entire season. But if you're looking at other people, I think we kind of covered the rest. But it's gonna be interesting to see who Frick what's his name again? I forgot
Furcus.
the
His
acting
name is Furcus, Bill
Furcus.
Furcus.
Frick.
You're like
Furcus.
Frick.
Frick.
You actually said Frick the other night. You said Frickus or something. So here's the deal. The one guy that we didn't talk about who I like, who we actually interviewed, Joe Record. He is Rule 5 eligible this last year in AAA, Eric. He was 4-1 overall on the season. He was 10-3 between 21 and 22. He's got a high upside. This guy's got his ground ball percentage went down in AAA, but when he was in AA, he had a 66% ground ball rate and his ERA shot up a little bit. He ran into some trouble, but he's got potential down there in that Rule 5 area. And then you've got a guy with last name of Torres in AAA who's done some decent things. So look,
Jonice. Yeah.
yeah,
But he's
Janice,
27.
yeah. So those guys are older. The question is, which 2 or 3 guys do you want to protect? Because look, just because someone goes Rule 5 doesn't necessarily mean that they go somewhere. Doesn't mean they get picked up, and you can always bring them back in. I
Yeah.
like, I like oh, and guess what? A friend just texted me and said, "Hey, check this out. Astros have identified Anthony Rizzo as their top first baseman target."
It wasn't
Eric
me this time.
Eric continues to dunk. Eric's dunking through subliminal messages through BR Walkoff at Ken Rosenthal. Wow, I'm getting
Yes.
slammed tonight. I've got a terrible record. I feel like the 108,000 win Dodgers in
Oh,
2022.
it's okay.
I swung and missed.
I want to say happy trails to the following free agents. Some of them are kind of notable. I'm not going to read the whole list, but Colin McKee is a name we've heard a lot about. Chad Donato, Nick Hernandez, Andre Scrub. I guess we got no scrubs anymore. Scott Mania, Edwin Diaz, third baseman, and shortstop Alex Degotti. Degotti, I think, is the one of the more notable names to kind of leave this. There's some other names, but those are kind of some of the biggest names of the minor leaguers that have decided to test free agency to see if they can maybe get up to the big leagues quicker because it hasn't been going too well with their rise to the big leagues.
Well, Colin McKee got injured last year, and I actually interviewed him back in 2019 and talked to him a few times this last season. Great guy, hard worker. He's one of these guys that wasn't really expected to go to the major leagues. I mean, he was good, but if you talk to him, his rise to professional baseball was like, as he went along each step of the way, he was like he believed more and more in what he had. So these guys elect for free agency doesn't mean they can't come back. Doesn't mean the Astros won't see him
Right.
again. But you always wish them the best. The Astros got some good prospects on their hands, and it's going to be exciting to talk more prospects about the guys that are on the cusp. Who's going to contribute this year? Who's going to be a late season call up? Who's going to compete for those extra spaces as they go into another playoff run?
All right. So, if you don't know who Caroline O'Connor is, she is now the president of business operations for the Marlins. She's the second highest ranking woman in MLB, and the Marlins are the first pro sports team to have women operating the entirety of the team's day to day business. So that's definitely something to think about. And I do want to talk about Mattress Max celebration real quick. Just imagine the balls of winning the $75 million and then coming in with, I think Hector Neris was helping him with the wheelbarrow with $10 million in there in front of a whole bunch of people that won free furniture. But to have the balls to just come out
You don't
there
say balls. You're just
and
trying to say the word balls.
and with $10 million in a wheelbarrow. I know there's police officers everywhere, but that's Mattress
Yeah,
Mac for you. And he's just saying, this is what I bet. And because I bet this, y'all all get free furniture. So it was a cool event. You had Neris there, you had Luis Garcia, Rafael Montero, and Christian Javier was there.
right.
And Montero also talked about the new contract. He says this means a lot to them because, oh, sorry, that's the wrong one.
Yeah,
Oh, I thought this.
basic. Well,
Go ahead.
basically what he said was he said it means a lot to sign a contract like this because he
Oh, yeah, yeah.
basically grew up in a poor family.
Right.
He grew up with not having anything. So for him to be able to get this kind of money on a contract means the world to him.
Yeah, and Nara said he recently got added to a team, but he understands the big burden that they've been carrying for several years. And with this win, it proves that they are champions. They wanted to prove that to the world. So the Astros are going to have to do this. They're going to have to do it again in 2023 for Dusty Baker. And we're definitely going to have to talk about this on another show. But Brett, I'm excited to see who they protect in Rule 5 draft. I'm excited to see more talk about Anthony Rizzo and coming to the Houston Astros. And I'm excited to just see about what happens in free agency because once the winter meetings happens, it's going to be on. And I
That's
think the
right.
Astros could do what it takes.
And next year, if the Astros win, Mattress Max says if you buy a mattress of $3,000 or more, not only do you get that mattress for free, but you get the money back. So if you buy a $3,000 mattress, he gives you $3,000. Basically, he gives you $6,000 back. You win. You buy something, you win twice what you spent. So go get you a mattress. And hey, there you go, Mattress Max. There's a free plug. I'm H-Town Wellhouse. He's Eric Huysman. This has been fun. Thank y'all for premiering with us. Thank you for tuning in, and we will definitely talk to y'all. We've got some exciting things on the horizon, working on some special guests here in the future in the off season. You guys definitely hang with us because you're going to have a blast here at Locked On Astros.
All right. Don't forget to go check out Locked On MLB for your second daily listen. But thank you for making Locked On Astros your first listen every day. And go subscribe to us, please. We'll see you tomorrow. And until then, go Stros.